Yeah, you're welcome. Now you got a badge just like I do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you. Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna go ahead and get started, guys.
So, my name's Park Ranger Seth. That's Park Ranger Caroline behind me. I'm going to talk about owls tonight, and she's going to do our bat portion. So I always like to start out with some owl trivia before we talk about the bats that we have in the area. How far do you think the owls are able to turn their head around? Does anyone know?
I think
270, that's right. That's it, yep. Look at that. Good job, you got yourself a prize, yep.
Wow, go Kathy.
Does anyone know what a baby owl is called?
Nope.
I used to, but I forgot.
So a baby owl is called an owlet.
Oh.
Yep. So we can find owls on every continent except for which one?
Antarctica.
That's right, yep.
Nice. You guys are good.
And the last one, this is an easy one. So are owls nearsighted or farsighted?
Nearsighted.
That's right, farsighted, she got it.
50-50.
There you go. Yep. So that's my trivia questions that I always like to start out with. So we'll talk about some owls that we have in the area here. So this guy, does anyone know who this guy is?
Great horn.
Yep, that's right. It's a great horn owl. They're 18 to 25 inches. Their wingspan is 36 to 60. They live primarily in forests, prairies, swamps, and marshes. They're the largest owl that we have in the area, and they only usually have one chick or offspring per year. It has a boxy body, and the two big characteristics, just like she has on her ear, are the bright yellow eyes and those ear tufts that you see stick up. And so when this guy's in the area, these are the guys that we usually try to call in first. No other owls want to be in the area because they're really scared, because this guy can eat other owls. So he'll eat some of the small owls that we have in the area. So he's the biggest and baddest out of all the owls. These guys are some of my favorite. They're really hard to find in the area. Does anyone know what this guy is? That's right. So it's a burrowing owl. So up by the airport, if you're on the other side of 40 all the way up there by the Ocala airport, these guys live in dry grasslands, prairies, urban, and agricultural environments. So they'll use old gopher tortoise holes, foxholes, yep, all sorts of spaces like that to hide in there. And when they have their eggs this time of year, the male stay watch, so he stays outside the burrow, and that's how they get their name, because he'll stay right up there and look around while the chicks and the female are in the bottom there. They're nocturnal hunters, and they'll fly low and hover, so it's mostly bait insects like beetles and very small prey because of how small these guys are. What about this guy? Eastern screech owl. So,
I was about to say a screech, but he looked a little different.
Yeah, so screech owl has that's how they got their name. Their call, instead of the who cooks for you or any of the hooing, is sort of like between a low and high pitched screech, and you can definitely tell when they're in the area. These guys are super small. They're only 7 to 10 inches, and they have a very small wingspan. They're only 18 to 24.
Is there a variety that doesn't?
You can find these guys in hardwood stands, swamp, pineland, groves, urban and suburban areas. So they're very common in our park here. Yeah, they absolutely love trees, and also in Scott Springs, which is over towards the Walmart on Easy Street. We've seen them over there before as well. They have 2 to 5 eggs, and they can have 2 to 3 babies. So these guys will actually care for many babies in 1 year. They have the brown and red and gray in them, and again the ear tufts that are white. And again, these guys are just gonna have insects, rodents, birds, and reptiles. So these guys will feed on bigger prey such as the anoles, lizards, and some of the other stuff that we have here in Florida. Yeah, this is a barn owl. So they're throughout Florida year-round, but they're mostly in woodland edges, clearings, farms, and suburbs. So we don't usually have too many of these in our parks, because wherever they nest or roost, they will stick to that area. They don't like to go too far.
We had one out
from
in Waldo.
Yep, and so they nest in tree cavities, barns, and abandoned buildings. And, they have 3 to 11 eggs twice a year, but they'll only raise 1 to 2 of those. and their diet is going to be rodents and insects for these guys. One characteristic that's really important on these guys is how their face is shaped. It's to direct sound directly into them so they can hear, and this identifying characteristic that most other owls don't have. The barred owl, and the barred owl has a very distinct sound. Does anyone know what the barred owl makes for his call? Everyone heard of the saying before? Yep, who cooks for you or who cooks for you all? So
yeah, we've got one of those.
these guys are pretty big. They're 16 to 24 inches. They're the most common owl that we see in the park. So anytime that we do our owl walks here in the park, these are the guys that we usually get to respond for us. Like Caroline was saying earlier, we've seen them eat the bats here actually, so we might be able to see one tonight. And the last time we did our program, we called in 3, correct? Yeah. And so it's super exciting because they get really active and boisterous. So when they get in an area, you'll hear the different ranges of how they hoo, and they can get agitated by the other owls. So it's really interesting to hear. These guys' habitats are pine scrubs, swamps, mixed forests, marsh, prairies, sandhills, and agricultural areas. And these guys will dine on just about anything from various rodents, some birds, bats, lizards. They'll pretty much eat anything that they can catch. So it could be making it because we're playing the baby call, or it could be because earlier we were playing the parrot call.
Get out of my tree. I don't want to. What is come on this side.
So for that, actually owls, a lot of owls are awake in the day and the nighttime. So in different climates, they're more of a nocturnal, but since it's so sunny here, the Sunshine State, they're actually out in the daytime. Mostly, so they rest on the trees and they have their claws that they actually walk. Yeah, they'll eat any other birds. They'll even eat other owls. Those other birds have a nest there. Yeah, see how they're
They're funny.
there she goes.
I'm just going over here going.
The birds are coming in now. What soundtrack is
Julie,
There she is.
look straight up.
Straight up. I will get away from there.
You got some poo?
Yeah. I got some too. I got some too.
I mean, I'm getting a lot of them.
Oh, there's a bunch in there.
Well, we could go now? Okay, bye.